This is Verna. She comes to us from as the director of the Connection Center over in Bowling Green, which is our clubhouse drop-in center. So she's going to chat a little bit more about what that is and how their services have kind of changed because, we have the stay-at-home order and all this fun stuff going on. So if you can let
Hello.
us know a little bit about that.
Sure. The Connection Center typically is kind of like a clubhouse drop-in center where we have clients come every day and we have all different kinds of programming. We have socialization, we have coping skills, we have art, we have music, we have parties, everything that basically can help clients just feel connected to other people and anything that can help their physical or their mental health. So it's really interesting because a typical day at the Connection Center looks different every single day. We have different programs, we have different field trips, we have different parties, we have different, you know, PSS activities. So now that we're kind of quarantined, we're doing things way different, but we're still helping a lot of people. Our typical day, me and my staff, we call between 70 and 100 people a day. So we're talking to members probably, I would say, 4 to 5 hours a day. We ask them, like, hey, do you have your basic necessities? Do you have food? Do you have medication? When was your last appointment? Are you having problems with telehealth? Do you need a tablet? Harbor bought tablets for all of the clients. So anyone that doesn't have internet access or connectivity or anything like that, we are getting them tablets. So that way they can meet with their case managers, their therapists, their doctors, so they can stay connected. I think it's also really important that they have access to Facebook or other social medias so they can talk to their family and their friends and NAMI or Connection Center, and just kind of like stay in tune with what's going on, because a lot of times when you're isolated and you don't have access to the internet, it's a lot worse. I think I kind of went off track, but um, so some of the things that we're talking to clients about is, are you having symptoms? And a lot of symptoms that clients are having right now are depression and anxiety and just the feeling of being isolated. So we talk to them and we tell them, like, hey, look, for the first time, everyone is feeling this. So in a way, it's kind of cool because the average person that doesn't know much about mental illness is now like, so this is what it's like. So I think that in a way is, it's kind of, I don't know, fighting stigma. So it's pretty cool. Um, but at the same time, our clientele, they do have severe mental illness. So we want to make sure that they're okay. So we talk about symptom management, coping skills, little things they can do just to stay out of the rut. And the clients have been awesome. They are so grateful that we call, and even they're concerned about us. Well, how are you doing? How's Ryan doing? How's his baby? How's Julia? How's Eric? How's Robert? So they really care. It's kind of like a community. So it's really neat. And we have found that a lot of members are helping each other during this time. So instead of just the staff calling the members, they're calling each other. Or they're going grocery shopping for those that have compromised immune systems or are older. So everybody's kind of pitching in and helping each other out, which is really cool. On top of the phone calls, we're giving people resources about, when the food pantries are open and how they can get food. Also, just kind of providing a lot of information about COVID virus. There's a lot of members who are a little confused. Like, hey, is this a symptom? Do I have the virus? I think that maybe I was in contact with so and so. So basically, we try to answer their questions the best we can. Every morning, the staff researches the latest stuff that's been put out on the virus, and then we typically watch the conference at 2 o'clock. So that way we feel better informed to be able to explain to the clients, like, hey, this is what the state is saying, this is what the government's saying, because they have a lot of questions, like, hey, am I going to get the stimulus check and stuff like that.
So it sounds like you guys are just a little busy right now, making sure that you're staying in contact with all of your members over there at the Connection Center. Um, I don't have any other like really questions because you were answering all my questions that I was thinking of as I was thinking of them. So, do you have anything else you would like to add right now in reference to the Connection Center or the current climate of things?
I guess what I can say is our members are doing surprisingly well during this.
Good.
And I don't know if it's because they've had to pull together or if it's because the Connection Center staff are helping. But our main concern when this started was, oh no, people are going to decompensate and they're going to end up in the hospital. So our number one goal was, let's try to do whatever we can to make sure that none of the members are exposed to the virus, or that they can remain kind of stable and have everything that they need to be stable so that they don't end up in the hospital right now just because of the overwhelming response that the police and the healthcare system already have. I think that it's huge that we're able to keep people safe so that then they don't have to get into an environment where they could be exposed. So right now, I mean, all of the members that we've been talking to, 70 to 100, no one has been hospitalized.
That is pretty phenomenal. So I do want to ask when our stay-at-home order is lifted and if we're still under a social distancing recommendation, no more than 10 people in a room kind of things. I know that we were kind of in this situation before the stay-at-home order was issued. What kinds of steps are you guys taking at the Connection Center? Because typically it's a pretty full house over there during the day. So what are you guys making any plans right now that you're comfortable with sharing with us so folks know kind of what to anticipate when the stay-at-home order is lifted?
Yes. If they continue the social distancing, what we will do is what we did right before we went into quarantine, because we were still open for like a week and a
Hmm.
half after most people already closed. And what we did was well, first, we disinfected everything. And I mean everything. We disinfected things 5 times a day. As soon as anyone walked in the door, they had to go wash their hands. And then they had, we took their temperature and we did all of that stuff. Um, but besides those, like just hygiene things, the new building is pretty big and it's pretty spread out, and we have a lot of rooms. So what we were doing is we separated all of the tables about 6 to 10 feet apart. We only let one person at each table. And then, we would allow like so many people in the back room. But again, we separated everything so that people were that distance apart. Um, we may have to, like we did before, anyone who's sick, not allow them to come. And I don't mean with the virus, I just mean anything that's compromised, bronchitis, pneumonia, anything. Um, and also people who have compromised immune systems or who, if they got the virus, could possibly die. We would like those people to stay home until it's 100% safe. But in the meantime, we probably will have a cap of how many people can be in the building. My fear is after being quarantined for like a month and a half, everyone is going to come. So what I'm going to tell people when we do come back is, hey, you know, let's just come in, a little bit at a time, kind of like ease our way into it. But when the coast is clear, we're going to have the hugest party that ever existed. We're going to have a huge bash. So then we can all
That
celebrate.
that sounds like something really exciting to look forward to, is a huge bash. I know it's going to be difficult. Before we had kind of started our interview, we were talking about being introverts versus being extroverts, and I'm sure you have some members that are a little bit more extroverted, and folks that already are dealing with certain mental illnesses or any mental illness right now. Isolating can be extremely difficult, and so the added layer of having a mental health condition, I'm sure, are making people just feel a little more alone. Like you said, having more of those symptoms of depression and anxiety, and so I'm sure it's going to be very difficult to limit time spent at the connection center, where a lot of people identify as that's kind of the place where I feel welcome, and that's where I feel like home, and that's where some of my family and friends are. Um, so I can appreciate that it's going to be extremely difficult for some folks. If there's anything that NAMI can do in the near future, or then I would love to help promote your big party, big bash, probably early fall. It's looking like when we'll be able to do stuff too. So, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Um, just everybody hang in there. And I think this is a cool opportunity just to see how everyone is coming together. And it's weird because I was never really that patriotic before, but I kind of am a lot more now. And I don't know if it's because Ohio is doing such an amazing job, um, but it's kind of neat to just feel that connectedness. So I hope that after this is over, it continues.
Yeah, I can echo those sentiments and completely agree. So we really appreciate your time and jumping in the call with us. And it's kind of different to have work meetings and things of this nature like this. But we really appreciate you taking a break and from calling different members in the community and hopping in and joining us for an interview.